There's not much is going to be said here that hasn't already been said, but I think it's important that we do our best to communicate this as many ways as possible, so that everyone knows what's happening and it's not a surprise to anybody um, on patch day. So basically, CCP or Fenris have announced a set of changes to Ansiblex, and they are essentially limiting outward projection. Now, what that means is that there's going to be different zones, and the zones are based on your light years from your capital staging system. You may have seen that CTAC-N is now our official staging, and that F7C has been is no longer our staging, our capital staging. What this means is that we will have a distance of 5 light years from CTAC-N that we can use jump bridges unlimited in the fashion that we're used to now. The only exception being that you won't be able to put capitals through them anymore. Okay, so as of September or whenever these changes officially come in, we'll no longer be able to put capitals, as in capital fleets, through them. Rorquals will be able to use them for now. Yeah, that may change in the future, however, depending on what CCP decide to do. Right, so what that means is our jump bridge network is going to look very different. So if you see on the map, Cloud Ring is up here. All right, ZTAC-Y is this little dot here beside Pureblind. And Delve is down here, Quirius is over here. So our pocket is all the way down here, all the way up here. Okay, that's over half of the map. If you compare our empire size from here to here, compare it to drones, the spread, the physical light year spread on our empire is significantly bigger than the entire drone regions. Okay. Whereas these guys have a couple of hundred systems packed into a very small area of space, we do not. We're very spread light year wise. So we are probably, we are definitely the most affected alliance. The coalitions like Goons have a bigger spread in total, but not by much. So this patch hits us pretty hard, but that's okay. We'll manage. Effectively, what it means is that jump bridges that are outside of range of CTAC-N have a vastly reduced capacity to transport ships through them. Okay. What that means effectively is KVN, because the CTAC-N KVN is more like a regional jump than a constellation jump. We're going to be taking down the KVN to Y2 jump bridge. All right, that's the first change we're making. The reason being, KVN will sit inside of Zone 3. Okay, so you've unlimited free movement in Zone 1. Zone 2 breaks your legs, and then Zone 3 amputates them completely. We'll be able to fit 20 cruisers through the KVN jump bridge after the patch hits. So over a 6-hour period, it takes 6 hours roughly for the jump bridge to recharge. So we'll be able to fit 20 cruisers through this jump bridge. Therefore, we're just going to remove it. There's no point in having a jump bridge that can fit 20 cruisers through. Some alliances are going to have the option of so ACLs are still there, but the only people who can use it are your alliance. So what groups are talking about doing is limiting jump bridges to the FC team or to the logistics team or to, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I don't want that. I think the best direction to do is, if a jump bridge is not going to be useful to the whole alliance, we just remove the jump bridge and dedicate that system to producing resources for people. So the first thing to go is going to be the KVN to Y2 jump bridge. Now, what we're going to do in that in that place is we're going to be putting Sino beacons in both KVN and Y2 to start with. All right. That means if we have to get to Delve, we get into CTAC-N on dock, get to KVN, and then we can Titan bridge straight to a beacon in Y2 if we need to, Or then we can also, if we have to be quick, or then we can come back into Y2 and bridge to a beacon in KVN. All right. So that's one option. The second option is doing a thing that I have now dubbed the exotic corridor. All right. So exotic corridors are essentially installing the exotic warp speed upgrade in iHubs in a corridor. So you see this is a corridor, right? So all of these will have an exotic warp speed upgrade, which means that if people are just looking to roam, or if we need to get down here for a timer, but it's not super important, we don't want to waste our fatigue bridging by Titan, it should still allow us to traverse these couple of jumps fairly quickly. So that's basically what we're going to be doing here. Now, I'm just going to jump straight to this part, which was Delve. Delve. This is our entry, all right, into Delve. And we currently own all of this space here. So if we change that to sovereignty, you can see all the INIT sov at the minute. The thing is that if we look at the KVN, so this is going to be in zone 3, all right? This jump bridge, the ZXB to JP4, DW, sorry, is going to be in zone 5, which means that we can get 4 Marauders through this over a 6-hour period. 4 Marauders, all right? So if the KVN jump bridge is not worth having, this jump bridge is definitely not worth having. And with that comes a couple of issues. So the regional divide in Fountain and Delve is massive. From light years, I know it's only a single gate jump, but it's massive. No, you can't influence the capacitor on these things just yet. They may introduce it in the future, or so they've said, but not yet. So we will essentially not have any jump bridges in Delve, all right? And that leaves us quite vulnerable in this area of space, the northern part. Okay, now some of this is in jump range of Delve, of ZXB, Titan Bridge range of ZXB. However, I'm also looking at this from how do we defend this daily if we don't have a huge amount of people living here, which we don't, okay? And the answer is that it's a lot of trouble, and the space is not good enough to warrant the level of effort we're going to have to put in. So what we're doing is we're basically getting rid of all the northern constellations. We're selling those to Insidious. You may have seen them moving through Fountain. So there's your dank leak. I haven't actually publicly said that, but it's going to be sold to Insidious, and they're going to live in this pocket around here. NOL, all of these systems here, we're giving to another group, and then our Quirius pocket down here, we're getting rid of as well to another group. Okay, so we're essentially getting rid of most of our space in Delve and Quirius. My preference obviously would have been to hold on to it, but from a strategic point of view and an effort point of view, this would be a very easy area to harass us, all right? And because we've no jump bridges to get here, we would be up and down here every day with fleets from somebody who wanted to fuck with us, and I'm just not interested in doing that, all right? So we're going to hold on to the area directly around ZXB. This is all in, most of this, not all of it, sorry, most of this is in Titan range of ZXB, and it's all in Dread range, all right? So that's basically what's happening. Now, you'll have seen a couple of pings from me about, moving all of your stuff. You don't have to move out of Delve. You just have to move out of the areas we're giving up. So we're holding on to ZXB, we're holding on to the DW constellation, and we're holding on to the 1DQ constellation, all right? And 4K, which is a little outlier system, all right? So that's essentially what we're holding on to here. Everything else will be gone. Now, Fenris have talked about rigs amnesty for anyone who looks after structures. They may look at it. It's not a certainty, but they probably will do it, is my guess. That would mean that groups can do what Goons did, which is pick up and move to another region if they want to do so without losing all their rigs. So corporations that have structures up here, number one, you can unanchor them now if they're unrigged. All right. Number two, you can sell them to Insidious. Or number three, you can keep them, wait for the rig amnesty to come in, and then unanchor them afterwards, okay? Liz very kindly has been putting together a list of structures in the area. I've passed that on to Insidious, and they're going to let me know if they're interested in buying any of it. You do not have to sell if you don't want to. That's basically what's happening. So we're not rushing anyone out as such. but I do want to make sure that we're kind of out of here as soon as we can be. All right. So shout out to Liz again for that. Thank you very much. That is Delve. Basically, Delve, sorry, the other thing to mention about Delve is that we're removing all of the mining upgrades in Delve. It will be exploration and it will be ratting. Okay, we're not going to keep any mining upgrades here because the space here is quite good. And obviously we've got a lot less of it now. So it's going to be ratting for people who want to run rally points and havens in Delve. They are quite lucrative. That's another decision that's been made. No, the way Ansiblexes are going to work is that every ship has a new designated capacitor usage. It's not the ship's capacitor usage. It's the capacitor that the jump bridge consumes to put you through it, basically. I don't have the values to hand. Basically, the bigger the ship, the more it costs. And if you're anywhere except Zone 1 is free. Everywhere else is expensive and not worth it, basically. All right, so that's Delve. I'll take questions afterwards, guys. I just want to get through this first. Looking at Fountain, just to explain it, CTAC-N is one of the most central systems. We aren't going to see many changes with INIT, okay? Because the model that Fenris are pushing now, it's not exactly the one that several INIT members have pushed, but it's very, very similar. We pushed for the no ACL. We pushed for whatever the mechanic was to be affected from your alliance capital. Various CSMs, FCs. All right, so there's been quite a consistent push. So for INIT, there's not going to be any major changes. CTAC-N hits over half of Fountain into Zone 1. All right. And most of the rest of Fountain is Zone 2. The badly affected area is over here around KVN and Y2. All right. What that means is the CTAC-N to J5A jump bridge is going to remain, and it's going to be an extremely powerful jump bridge now. All right. I mean, it was before, but it's still going to be. Our other jump bridges are going to stay the same. I unfortunately don't have a map to hand. I probably should have them, sorry. But basically, all our current jump bridge network is going to roughly stay the same. One big difference is going to be IGE to D4KU. So anyone looking to get to Aridia, IGE is in Zone 1, but D4KU is in Zone 2. Okay? And what that means is that we can fit around 65 cruisers through IGE jump bridge into D4KU. And then the jump bridge caps out in IGE. Okay? We could change D4KU to YVBE, so it will be here to here and then down to Hophib. The thing is that because IGE is in Zone 1, then D4KU, if we've got fleets coming back from Aridia, which we do quite often, they'll be able to jump into D4KU and we can ram as many subcaps through the D4KU jump bridge into IGE as possible. So it's going to be more difficult for us to project into Aridia, but it's going to be the exact same as it is now for us getting back from Aridia. Because the way that the mechanic works is that the capacitor is consumed on the jump bridge you take, but the zone multiplier matters for the jump bridge that you're going to. So IGE is Zone 1, D4KU is Zone 2. The capacitor gets consumed out of IGE when you're jumping to Zone 2. But because IGE is Zone 1, anyone jumping from D4KU back into IGE, Zone 2 jump bridge into Zone 1. Zone 1 has a 0% usage, okay, or 0 times usage. So none of the capacitor in the D4KU jump bridge is consumed while jumping back into IGE. So that's why I'm saying it's more difficult to project outwards, but fleets that are coming home from D4KU will be able to jump as normal, okay? Now, what that means is we've had to change 1 or 2 jump bridges up here. So OTAC-P is still going to link to whatever system it is down here. The 38IA jump bridge over here, I believe we need to change that. So that's going to go instead of down into this pocket down here. This jump bridge is now going to link over here, if I remember right, okay? And the reason being, this is Zone 2, Griffin is Zone 2, but over here is all Zone 1. So getting into Griffin will have its limits, but getting back from Griffin to CTAC-N won't be an issue for anybody, okay? So the way we're designing this is that we're not having any zone 2 to zone 2 jump bridges, because having a jump bridge network that you can only fit 60 cruisers through is no good to us. All right. We are going to have some jump bridges in zone 2, but they will always link back to a zone 1 system. And what that means is that anyone who's out ratting in Griffin or D4KU or running missions in Aridia, whatever, a ping goes out, you say, oh shit, I need to get back to CTAC-N. You will be able to travel back to CTAC-N without issue. All right. But you may experience issues going back out to HotBib again after the fleet. All right. So that's kind of the difference. That's the way we're designing our jump bridges to work. I'm hoping that makes sense. It's a little bit complicated, but once it's in, I think people will be fairly comfortable with it. All our other remaining jump bridges are in zone 1, so we won't have any issues. Okay. Cloud Ring is the next area. So Cloud Ring is an interesting region. Our J5A jump bridge, J5A is in zone 1. So remember, zone 1 does not consume any capacitor. We can keep sending subcap fleets into Cloud Ring as much as we want without issue. However, the jump between Fountain and Cloud Ring is as big nearly as the one between Delve and Fountain. So that means that the jump bridges BTEC-D to F7C and OZ to ZTAC-Y would both be a 4 Marauder capacity jump bridge, which means that these jump bridges are now effectively useless. All right. So what we're going to be doing is taking down all of our jump bridges in Cloud Ring. Now, B-D is only 3 jumps to ZTAC-Y, 4 jumps to ZTAC-Y, and F7C is only 4 jumps from BD as well. All right, so we can get there very quickly if we need to. And then we'll also be creating an exotic corridor between B-D and F7C. So anyone looking to move up this pipe will have the exotic warp speed. So the thing is, Kale, so why different zones? All right. If we look again at the universe and then here, all right. So INIT has about 180 systems between Cloud Ring, which is up here, down into Fountain, and then down into Delve. All right. That's 180 systems over this area of space. Zone 1 covers maybe half of Fountain. All right, zone 2 covers 2/3 of Fountain, and zone 3 the last third of Fountain. And then Cloud Ring, which is up here, and Delve, which is down here, all right, very far away from Fountain, that is zone 5 area of space. So from up here to down here, all right, look at that physical distance. That is 180 systems worth of solve. Now let's look at drone lands. From here to here is basically a little bit bigger than Fountain, not by much. All right. So let's say it's 1.5 times the size of Fountain. There are 400-500 systems packed into this area of space, which is why I said that we've been hit very hard by this change because our space is so spread out. But if we apply the same rules to somewhere like Dronelands, then you can start to see why the zones spread the way they do, I suppose. We're not moving the drone lands, no. We did actually have a discussion around moving the drone lands about 2.5 years ago, and we decided not to because the space is shit. Fountain is a very good region. These rest of Eve is all very bad regions. So Fountain is love, Fountain is life. So that's it. The only other thing I'm going to mention, because it is going to affect people a little bit, because we're moving and we're going to have a higher population in Fountain, what we're doing is we've taken out some of the mining upgrades. So we went through it system by system. We looked to see which systems were not being used with mining. And we've converted, I think, 2 systems that weren't being used back into ratting systems to get us some additional havens and rally points. And what we've also done is taken some of the systems that had 2 tier 2 mining upgrades, and we've replaced them with a tier 3 mining upgrade, plus another tier 2 if we could fit it. So the amount of systems with mining has reduced slightly from I think like 26 down to 24. But the amount of ore available has increased, if that makes sense. And then the amount of havens in Fountain has increased fairly significantly as well. So there's going to be around it's actually 299 havens available in Fountain at any given time. All right. Confirmed we're staying in CTAC-N. Yeah. Can we put up more zone 1-to-1 jump bridges? No, because jump bridges consume quite a lot of resources. So that means we'd have to downgrade our ratting and mining, and I don't want to do that. So it's just not worth it, Brand, for the amount that Delve was being used. I do understand some people live there, but if you look at INIT as a whole, only a very small percentage of people lived in those areas of space outside of ZXB. All right, so it's strategically, tactically, for gain versus effort, we were going to spend a lot more effort, basically. No, we've upgraded the systems as much as we need to get those exotic corridors in, because we're taking down the jump bridges in KVN, Y2, BD, and F7C. That's actually freed up a significant amount of resources in those areas. So the ratting has actually increased in those areas along with the exotic corridor. So that is the TLDR of what we're planning to do.